Okay. Hello. I'm back again to make a video about records. I got some fresh coffee made. I took a shower. I'm clean. I got some stuff set aside. Um, but yeah, it's been a minute since I've done this, as it always is, and I'm thrilled to show you some stuff. So I kind of want to start off with this wonderful artist, Bobby Caldwell. I'm not trying to flex. I'm just trying to show I got a price tag on that one. I'm gonna take off. Um, this is kind of an ode to myself back when I first started making the videos. Um, I love Bobby Caldwell, but I really think my peak loving was back then. So here I have all my copies. And I guess I first wanted to talk about the debut here. So this was a record I've known about for a while because of what you won't do for love, the title track. This is a Canadian pressing on TK. This I got from the Ottawa Record Fair in 2023. It was the very first time I ever saw this record. I paid about $80 Canadian for it, and I was so over the moon excited. It has one of my favorite songs of all time, My Flame, on here. So yeah, that is that guy. I was very lucky to visit New York City last summer, and I came across an American copy here, which is on the Clouds label. Got this from A1 record shop, record store. It was awesome. About $20, 25 American, so much more easygoing price. And then this guy is one that I got from a flea market last summer. There was a seller. He was selling a bunch of like classic rock stuff. Like he had bins, and his stuff really wasn't sorted like at all. And my girlfriend and I were waiting to get a pizza, one of those like stone oven ones, and I just went and flipped through, and I came across, and he had $25 on it, and I was like, would you do 20? And he did, and that was really cool. And then lastly, this is Cat in the Hat. This is his follow up, also on the TK label. Please bear with me. I'm doing this in one take, and my phone is stacked up on some books, and I'm looking at my computer for reference. But I really like his follow up quite a bit. It's got Coming Down from Love on it. Open Your Eyes is definitely the highlight of it all. What's the other one I like? To Know What You Got, Wrong or Right, I forget. But it's definitely more just kind of like, if you're in the mood for Bobby, you put it on. But Open Your Eyes is a classic. Of course, it's sampled by Soulquarians on the Like Water for Chocolate album, which I don't really want to get into, but I do think that's probably one of the biggest upsets as far as who was given those beats. You know, like you got the only Soulquarian album incomplete, and you gave the beats to Common, who is just like, I understand hip hop's evolved, but like his homophobic bars are actually so cringe and insecure, like even for the time. And I feel like he's just such a low tier rapper. And I think when you listen to the instrumentals on their own, I'm like, why would you? Anyway, I don't want to get into it. I'm not the biggest Common fan, but those beats are great. Behind me, this is my record setup. So the other reason why I wanted to make this video is I'm moving out of this place very soon. In a month, I'll be fully out of here, and this has been a really cool place to be. Right now I live in Little Italy in Ottawa. It's a really nice, quiet part of town. We live in this really old home, and I was very fortunate to get like the biggest room in the house, mostly for my records. So I got the two shelves there. I got these big Mirage speakers that I gotta get. I gotta get the seams repaired on the side because we got a cat, George, who likes to tear in them. I got my turntable behind me. It's a Denon DJ model. It's like a USB thing. It's a really heavy duty DJ table. I love it a lot. I got an Akai amplifier of some sort, HD 650s. It's been really fun to have this space and to be able to play records, but I'm moving to an apartment, so I'm not going to be able to bring these big old Mirage speakers with me. So I'm going to be looking for a pair of bookshelves. If you come across this video and make it this far and you have small speaker recommendations, I'm all ears. But yeah, so this is also kind of a farewell to this space. But yeah. All right, so set some records aside here. This is kind of my favorites, the things that I went through and I wanted to talk about. And yeah, so the first one we got here is Sun Tub by ML Bush. In my eyes, I think this is a future classic. It's on the 15 Love label. This record sounds impeccable. It was mastered by Amir Shote, and the lacquer was cut by Hari Kishore, which I only bring up because they did such a good job. But the first time I heard this record, I really knew it was special, but I've really only begun to scratch the surface on it. It really sounds like nothing else I've ever heard before. It sounds like the cover. It sounds like spring, summer, and fall. It sounds like dusk. It sounds like dawn. It's a one of a kind record. They just repressed it. Boom Cat has a yellow and white edition. I'd recommend picking up. I don't know how long this is going to be around for, but when this went out of stock, it started to shoot up in price. It's worth it. It's a future classic, like I said. Next up, we have McGee 2-Star on the Dream Police, which I'll take out because you can't really see the picture on it. But this was my favorite album of last year. It was a weird one for me because McGee I only knew from he had a song called You, and it was summer 2020, and I was making a summer mix, and it was one of the songs that played the most. Please ignore the dirt on this LP. But to me, McGee was just this like Spotify algorithm artist. You know, like I was like, I don't even know what compelled me to check out the singles for this. I think it was probably the art direction, but I remember I checked out Are You Looking Up? And I was kind of like, yo, that's pretty good. I kind of like that. And when the album came out, I was amazed, and I listened to it so much, and yeah, it quickly became my favorite album last year. My girlfriend and I bonded quite a bit over this album. Yeah, it's superb. It's like Arthur Russell. It's like ML Bush. It's like 80s poppy, free. It's great. It's got an atmosphere of its own. It's a phenomenal record. The record press itself was kind of weird. They did an initial black run, and then they did a green. They did this smoky red black. They did a white, and now they're all back in print again. I'd get one if you like the record. It's not the best pressing in the world, I will say, but for collective purposes and things like that, it's great. It's a great record. All right. MJ Lenderman. This is his self-titled debut. This was really cool to see get a pressing. So I'm gonna gloat here. I'm gonna act all cool. But I knew about this record when it first came out, 2019. I was fresh out from school, and I was doing what I usually do, which is I like to go on Bandcamp. Whoop! I like to go on Bandcamp and just browse what's selling at the moment. So, you know, you go on and you judge a book by its cover. You go on and you open in a new tab the record that you the record cover that you like. And this was one of them, and I remember listening to it, and I thought it was an amazing record the first time I heard it. It's very Jason Molina, Songs Ohio inspired. It's very like Neil Young inspired. It's kind of like a slowy core kind of album. The opening track "Come Over" is amazing. "Left Your Smile" is fantastic. It's just a great record, and it's really cool to see MJ succeed and to see this album blossom because it's probably still my favorite by him. But they remastered this for vinyl. It sounds great, and I'm seeing him in 2 weeks at the Bronson Center, which is very exciting. We got Loitus, "One Day," another amazing record from last year. So this record came out, and I knew about it. I could not escape it. Everyone loved it, and I couldn't get into it for the life of me. I tried and tried and tried, and it just nothing was clicking. And I would say this past winter, my girlfriend and I were on opposite schedules. So I worked a night shift, she worked a day shift. So I'd come home from night shift and she'd be asleep, and she'd leave me in the morning, and it was just kind of a rough time to be in a relationship going through that. But what I would really like to do is I would get home after a night shift and I would get really high on edibles or smoke or whatever, and I would just sit in bed and I would zone out to like really minimal electronic music. And this was one of those albums. But most importantly is Loitus's first EP, the debut EP, is superb. I had an order from Juno Records that had the Ski Mask record from last year and another one. But I had to cancel because I was unemployed for a little while because I quit my job. I used to work at a dispensary. It was time to go, and so I quit. So I was out of work for a bit, so I had to cancel that. But Loitus is awesome, highly recommended. All right, another personal favorite, Mike. Wanted to shout out Mike. Phenomenal MC, producer, everything. I was first put on the mic with the rollout of "Weight of the World," and "Weight of the World" was the first Mike album I really liked. He has a very like sluggy, druggy, inconsistent sound. If you don't know any better, I think is the kind of the best way to put it. Disco. This was the first album that I really got it, and I think he really got it. Like this is my favorite by him. Super consistent, amazing rhymes, amazing beats. It's just it's a masterpiece of an album. I picked this up from Dead Dog Records out of Toronto last year with the Mad Lib Dill Cosby Suite record. Because I didn't buy this when it came out because it was expensive shipping and didn't want to get it over here. And last year I saw that the price was starting to go up, so I paid about $85 for this, and now they're starting to get a little ludicrous. I would not pay the ludicrous prices. I think he'll probably repress them one day for sure. And then I also have "Beware of the Monkey," which I thought this was my favorite by him when it first came out. This is the Rough Trade Coke Bottle Clear. I thought this was my favorite, but I think I'd probably give it a Disco. But this is also just another. It's just playing on the back. This is another great album by Mike. It has Concrete on it, which is a great closer. It has the one track with Sideshow on it, right? There's one track with Sideshow on it, I believe. No, it's Jadesy. Track 4, Light If You Can't See. Crazy. That was kind of when I feel like I figured out Mike. You know, like you get this like really like sluggy beginning. It doesn't really seem to go anywhere, and then it kind of opens up. And I always think about the opening track, well, the second track on Disco. It's with Sideshow or Jadesy as well, but he's just kind of like I hope they get it. Like I hope you get it. And I feel like, you know, I can't speak about being in his shoes, but I feel like there would be an aspect of like, man, I hope they get it. But then I also feel it's an aspect of like, I'm just doing what I'm doing and I'm going to keep on moving because his output's crazy. I'd love to see him succeeding. We got Wishbone by Jackie Matu. This is a fun one. So I am a native resident of Zap Records in Cobourg, Ontario, Canada, and this was one of Tim's favorite records or most sought after records. It took him a really long time to find a copy because he refused to pay the really high prices, and I was lucky to find one on Facebook Marketplace for like $40, $30. It's a really fun record. Toronto era. He recorded this in Toronto. I don't think he was from Toronto. I think he was from Jamaica. But it's organ. It's easy listening. It's fun. Definitely not a record we'll play all the time, but I mean, like when you're in the mood, it smacks. Definitely like druggy hippie core. We got 154 by Wire. This is one of my favorite records, especially when you're talking like post-punk esque records. This is an original UK. I bought this and it was supposed to be a Canadian repress, but it's indeed a UK original. It does not have the 7-inch, but I first heard Wire with Pink Flag, of course. Dug it, but I think this is really when they do, not that their records aren't special, but this is like peak Wire for me. You know, I don't like overly dark music. I'm not a big gothy guy. I don't really like early Cure. So this is a bit of an oddity for me, but I think they really get it. I think they take you to a place and you stay there intently. And then there's also just some great songwriting on here, like the 15th and Map Degrees, whatever the heck the song name is. Great band, classic band, love Wire, love this record. Speaking of loving bands, I got a nice little fun run here. So I have been working at this new job where I'm basically picking litter up off the street. It's good work, it's fun work, but I'm listening to music while working again. And I've been listening to mainly Fireworks by MJ Lenderman quite a bit, and also Day Moon by Strange Ranger. I have a lot of history with this band. This band is my favorite band of all time. I've been listening to them forever. I love them so deeply, and this to this day is probably the most anticipated album upon release that I've ever gone through. You know, it's back when this is only 2017, 2016, so you know, like there were still like runs and long periods of time that you had to sit and wait for a record. And I remember the day this went up, the second this went up on pre-order, I ordered it. It's on Tiny Engines. I first got into Strange Ranger when they were Sioux Falls with Rot Forever. This was on Consequence of Sound. It was posted, and I liked the cover art, and I checked it out. And I never really heard anything like this before. My favorite thing about Strange Ranger is Isaac. I think his songwriting is amazing, and I think the way he uses his voice is really special. You know, like he hits these higher registers that he really has to push himself for, and he pulls it off. And I've never really heard anyone like him. This record's really starting to go up in value. I knew it would when I was a kid. They only pressed like 150, 125 of these. It's just the standard black. But classic record. And then Day Moon was the follow-up. I remember this was announced and they did an audio tree live that I watched in class, and this was just a really special record. I couldn't believe it was real every time I listened to it. And I have the little girl tattooed on my leg. That was my first tattoo when I was 18. I turned 18 or I turned 19. And yeah, it's really special. And I remember there was a time in my life where I was really repelled by anything with a guitar. I was really really into hip hop and stuff like that, and I never really thought I'd be back into this, but it's things find a way to sneak back into your heart. And just for good measure, we have Remembering the Rockets by Strange Ranger. This is their, I don't want to say their last great album, but I think it's like their last consistent great album. This is the pink version. The fun thing with this album was, I was in college, my first and only year of college, because I went to like a scam school where they just charge you at the wazoo for like 12 months or 11 months. Anyway, and Isaac sent me they sent me a link to this early. I got it in December and it came out in August. So I got it 8 months early, which was really fucking cool for a little guy like me. So at the time there was an alternate art, there was like a couple song names that changed, some interludes went and gone, like they were working on it at the time. It was like a SoundCloud link, so I got to run that, and then this was released on graduation day, which was so cool. But I think this is a great album by them. It's really just easy songwriting. There's some crazy moments on it as well. It's really beautiful. Great moment for them as a band. And what I don't own is Pure Music, but what I wanted to say about Pure Music is when it first came out, I was a little underwhelmed by it, but I was in that period of not really liking that kind of music, so I kind of just skimmed it off. But about a year later, I kind of started to listen to it a bit more, and there's some really good songs. She's on Fire is impeccable. Rain So Hard is a wondrous open. Wide Awake is on there. There are some duddy moments for me personally where I just kind of feel like this is just not for me, but when they broke up, it was really sudden, and it made me reevaluate the album, and it just kind of hits a little bit different when you know it's their last. And it breaks my heart to this day that they're not a band anymore, but it makes it really special to have that history. And they stopped while they were on top, which I always talk about them. I always talk about how important it is to stop while you're doing good, and they did exactly that. So Isaac's still making music under the Threshold alias, which is really good. I like that stuff a lot. It's a lot of like piano, it's a lot of like piano ballads, and he has this very specific aesthetic that's going around with it. And he's working with Turtleneck, who's now the Dare. He had some production on that. He had an engineering credit on Alex G, Save the Animals, which is really cool. I'm just always rooting really hard for him. He's a really cool guy, and he really encouraged me and validated me when I was really young and aloof. And I think that's a really cool thing, because you don't have to do that, honestly. But Strange Ranger, great band. All right, another great big highlight of my collection. The second most amount of records I have for an artist would be Brian Eno. I got a stack here, so I got some new editions, and I just kind of wanted to talk about Eno. So the newest edition that I got is Discreet Music. This is a reissue on the Antilles label. It's got a little blue on the name there. Discreet Music. This one is a bit of a fun one. So during COVID, or like during 2021, when COVID was kind of near its peak, I was a little depressed, and I would go into the forest and I would play this album, and I would put it at a certain volume where you'd essentially tune it out. It was like half nature, half discreet music, and it was really, really special. But this is a pretty dark tone of an ambient record, I would say. This scares animals. If I have a dog, I have a golden retriever, and she hates this album. The frequencies and the tones just don't mesh. But I've been wanting to get this for a while. I got it. I kind of want a cleaner copy, or to give this an ultrasonic, because any crackle in ambient music I cannot do. It takes me out of it. But on the topic of dark tones, Ambient 4, this is probably my favorite ambient record that Brian, did. it is really dark. It's extremely dark, and but if you're willing to go to that place and hang out there, it's really rewarding, and it has some beautiful tracks too. Like Dunwich Beach is just beautiful, but the cover art's great too. I was listening to Another Green World the other night, which is considered his best album. Definitely one of the best cover arts. This is an original on Island, which I do not see too often. I always see the editions from EG, which I really have nothing against, honestly. The artwork is usually better on the editions of EG, and they sound pretty good, but I want to get originals. I think this is a great record, but it kind of loses its umph as you go on. I think Sky Saw is a phenomenal opener. St. Elmo's Fire is classic. It's got some beautiful ambient moments, but I just wish it kept going strong the whole time, because it fully could. But that leaves the best two Eno LPs are definitely Before and After Science and Here Come the Warm Jets. So this is my copy of Before and After Science. It's a reissue. Really trying to find an original. They're really tough to get, especially with the prints. But to me, this is such a special moment for Eno. I really wish he did not release another vocal album after this. I know he did one a couple years ago or last year or whenever. Because this is just like, it's like a send off to everything he did in my eyes. Like you have the first half, which is really like flamboyant and fun and wacky, and I find that's really similar to Here Come the Warm Jets. And then the latter half is just serene and beautiful and tranquil and dark, and which is everything he did after and before. It's a perfect record in my eyes. It's a great send off. Love this record. And then of course Here Comes the Warm Jets. It's a US still in shrink, except I cut it so I could play it. This was my introduction to Eno. Highly recommend it if you haven't heard him. And this is just super fun. I'm not super big into like really like flamboyant 70s glam rock. When it hits, I love it. But like I went through a bit of a Sparks phase, but they're a bit too much for me sometimes. But this I'm always in the mood for. It's wacky. It's prickly. It's special. It's beautiful at the end of it. Yeah, classic. We're almost done. So I'll lead. I got 3 things to show you. So number 1 are these two Nick Drake albums. So these are some of my pride and joy when it comes to record collecting. So I never really thought I would own any Nick Drake in this capacity, but the first one I got is Brighter Later. It's on the Antilles label. So I was at Vertigo Records in Ottawa, Ontario, and I was just shopping. I had a Mandrill record, and I had College Dropout by Kanye West. This was 2022, and I was at the cash, and I literally just saw like I just saw the guy put it in, just put it on the shelf behind the counter, and I was like, that's a really nice Nick Drake record you got there. And he's like, it's just going out for sale. And I was like, give it to me. So it was $100, which I was more than happy to pay. An original, probably never going to happen for me. I don't really want to shell out that kind of money unless I get extremely lucky. But all analog, 70s reissue, Brighter Later, I am so there. So this was a huge one for me. And then last fall, I was at the Ottawa Record Show. I've not been since because it's really dangerous territory, and I will spend so much money, and I'll probably be at the next one, which is in September. Anyway, I walk in the record show, everything's going on, but there's this big wall, and I see Bill Evans, Live at the Village Vanguard. I see, blah, 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 fucking Nina Simone, like really old, nice, good records. It was on the wall, and I saw Pink Moon by Nick Drake, and it had $80 on it. This is a 78 reissue, I believe. And I went to it immediately, and I was like, "What's wrong with that?" You know, that was why I was like, "What is wrong with that record?" And he gave it to me. I was checking it out. It had one mark on it, and he said it's priced to sell. And I said, "No shit, it's priced to sell." I bought it, came home, and it plays great. Huge, 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 huge win for me. Again, it's a reissue, but it's all analog. It's from late '70s, so this is a win in my books. Um, Especially when it comes to things, like Blue Note, Atlantic. Atlantic has great late '70s reissues. They do a tip-on sleeve. It's all analog. Like we're still healthily in that period, so they're from the tapes most of the time, and it's better than shelling out a crap ton of money for really expensive LPs that are only going to sound marginally better most of the time. But there will probably be a day where I graduate to originals. Much like I was really happy with the Blue Note Classic series about a year and a half ago, and I was like, yeah, I don't need anything, I'm fine. And now I am not for the classic. Like I'm for the classic reissues. Like if someone has them, like yeah, I'm not gonna, But for me, I want Black Bees. I want Black Bees at least. I want that tip-on sleeve. I want that Rudy Van Gelder in the Matrix. That's what I want. Because they're still cheap. They're still cheap and they're good. This is My Gifts by Pharoah Sanders. This was the Strata East Record Store Day reissue. This was the first year since I can remember, probably 2020, since I've wanted something from Record Store Day. This is an example of something that will fill the gap of an original. From the master tape, a very well-preserved master tape, tip-on sleeve, all analog cut, the whole 9 yards. I was so upset to see that this was a Record Store Day title. I thought it was such bullshit because the Strata East label is super rare. They're doing the reissues well. Pharoah Sanders, big name, and they decided to plop it on that Record Store Day, and I think a lot of people are going to miss out. Once 5 years go by, I think this is going to be a very expensive record, which is unfortunate because the original was already quite expensive. There are other reissues for it. Do they have a tip-on sleeve? I don't know. Are they all analog? I'm pretty sure, but it's not a Strata East licensed. Like, they licensed it, but it's not a Strata East. They don't have the label. So, anyway, this is a crazy album. I'm familiar with Leon Thomas. I'm familiar with the crew, but I think Leon Thomas in particular on this record, like, there's a couple times when you cannot tell if it's Pharoah or Leon. The sax to yodel is crazy, and it's just really really special music. And I'm trying to get a healthy Pharoah Sanders collection going. So there's that. I got one more, and I might have a bonus. We'll do one more. Okay, so this is the biggest addition to my collection. The biggest thing I was trying to get forever. There was a wonderful artist named A.G. Cook, who I kind of became a bit of a fanboy of last summer. He released the Best of 7G, which was a compilation of his 7G album, which at the time I did not love. I was not prepared for. It was too long. I didn't like the way it was broken up per instrument or focus. And it just kind of floated on for me. The Best of 7G, he took that and he sequenced it into an album. And it just kind of, it shined a light on the project for me, and I'm a huge fan. And the record sounds impeccable. One of the best sounding records in my collection. So Britpop came out in May of last year, and I liked it. It was a good album, and he started to do a tour and he had these pop-ups where he had the records, and I wanted this record so bad because of how good it sounds. It's a bit of an inconsistent LP just because it's so long, but the opener is impeccable. Lucifer is great. Serenade, Green Man, Crescent Sun is awesome. It's a really fun LP, and this box set is beautiful. So I've been drooling over this forever, and I had notifications on for AG Cook. I had everything. I was loaded. I was prepared. I wanted it. And I was playing Rocket League out of everything. And I hit pause and I checked my phone and it was go time. The records were out. And I dropped everything. This is like 9 months coming, by the way, just to put the emphasis on how important this was to me. I threw everything out. I went it and I got the box set. It's in my hands. They only pressed a very finite amount of these, and they put the leftovers online, and they sold out in under 10 minutes. The standard LPs, which are in here, like this is it's just a box. They're still available. I'd highly recommend picking it up. It's just a wonderful sounding record. I think he's setting a standard for how LP should be. You put care into your product. So these are the 3 LPs. As you can see, there's a spot gloss on them. So he did it past, future, present. I'm not going to take them all out just because they're all nicely in here, but amazing sounding albums. Super honored to own the box. It was a huge white whale for me. If I didn't own it, I would be really sad. Last thing, I'll take you on a little journey. I'm going to show you my Coltrane collection. If you made it this far, you get to see my Coltrane collection. So behind me, you have Live at Birdland. I'm just gonna take you to my Coltrane selection. Can I flip this around? Okay, I'm going to... Oh, I can do it like this. Wow. Okay. So, Coltrane, Live at Birdland. Y'all are going to love the record behind it. It's my girlfriend's. This is on this is a great quality... This is on the Spartan label. Anyway, Coltrane, Live at Birdland. So this is my Coltrane stack right here. I can't see what I'm filming, by the way. I have to look behind me. So this is my Coltrane stack. You got Blue Train. That's a Tone Poet mono. All my favorite things. This is the Atlantic 75 series. 45 RPM with the biggest dead wax you'll ever see in your life. Sounds great. Giant Steps, also the Atlantic 75. Avant-Garde, John Coltrane, Don Cherry. This that Atlantic reissue I was talking about. So you got that tip-on gatefold. It's glossy, all analog, sounds great, really cheap. Bags and Train, Milt Jackson, John Coltrane. This is also from that Atlantic late 70 period. Coltrane. This is the John Coltrane Quartet. Canadian green label, sounds really good. John Coltrane Quartet Ballads. This is a second press mono. One of the best sounding records in my collection for sure. Duke Ellington, John Coltrane, black label reissue. Coltrane Live at the Village Vanguard. It's an original, I believe. I don't want to take it out. It's a little tight in here. Got Crescent. This is also a green hit. Bit rough shape on this one, but it's a good starter copy. I Love Supreme. Quality Records reissue. Acoustic Sounds. Kulu Se Mama. This is an original, I believe. Live in Seattle with Pharoah Sanders. Crazy album. Original. My newest edition, Cosmic Music with Alice Coltrane. Original. Again, crazy. Transition. I haven't heard this one yet. I got it really cheap. Have not played it yet. And then Sunship, which is one of my favorite John Coltrane albums. Posthumous. It's great. So, got a fat stack Coltrane. final array of all my records that I got going on. I got boxes and cleaners and stuff, but anyway, thank you for checking this out. Thanks for letting me blab about records. Thank you so much.